And good morning, everybody. It is Fabulous Friday featuring Jodie Solberg and Cormac Colleran. Now, these two are wonderful. All right. They've got together and they have collated their expertise and they have come up with something fabulous to share with our community. Cormac, I met you in Ireland, so we know each other well. And Jodie, I get to meet you tomorrow at the NGH conference in Boston. So, do you know what? Tell us a bit about how you both got together and what inspired you to work together and create this thing for hypnotists about addiction, to really get to the nuts and bolts to help people with addictions.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Claudia. I'm looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. It's going to be wonderful. So Cormac and I met in a very similar way to what you were just describing, which was at a conference. We met in St. Louis at the Heartland Hypnosis Conference a few months back. And it was wonderful because we got to really meet through the Ellmans. So we had both been working with Larry and Cheryl Ellman. I've been working with them for the last couple years. And I am actually working with Cheryl for the Sleep Talk program, if you're familiar with that, for children.
I do it. She taught me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you did as well. Yeah. So we were connected through them, and Cormac actually saw me speak first about Sleep Talk, and then on my own about trauma and breaking generational cycles, and I was able to hear him speak about addiction. And what we figured out through that is that we had a lot in common and a lot of things that we were talking about that were really complementary, similar in a lot of ways, because I also have a background in working with trauma in general, but abuse and addiction. I spent almost 10 years of the last 24 as a hypnotherapist working with people in addiction. And we really wanted to see how we would work together. And he was interested in having the trauma side represented with his cocaine addiction training, which he held in May. And so he invited me to go to Dublin and be basically the bonus module for his training to see how that would go over and how it would fit in well with what he was teaching. And so I decided to make the trip and be a part of that, and was able, of course, to learn from him through his training, and then offer some information about being trauma informed, because when we work with people in general, we're going to work with trauma, but also when we're working with addiction, often there's that underlying root cause that has something to do with trauma, often from childhood and early years. And so we figured out that we worked really well together, and it was a very successful. People were really interested, and people were actually asking us at that training, when were we going to do more? When were they going to be able to learn more? Because I really, in just a small module of a training, I could only give a little bit, the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, when it came to being trauma informed. And so that's where it all started. And we decided to really create a longer, more in-depth training where we could really talk about being both solution focused and trauma informed. And I'll let Cormac take it from there and tell everyone a little bit about what we decided to put together.
Yeah, so as and I know, Claudia, you have heard me speak before, and my approach to working with addiction, my approach to working with most issues, in fact, is very much solution focused. So lots of people might go to different forms of therapy, and it's more problem focused, and understanding your problem, and that's not my way of thinking at all. It's very much more solution focused. So where are they now, and where do they want to be, and what's the quickest way of getting them there? And so I've had good success with that work, and I've created some really fantastic techniques that have been easily learnable for others, and I've trained lots of people on them. And I suppose the one thing that I noticed that was missing was the trauma-informed piece. So I was working at that kind of maybe more the surface level, like we look at the behavior and we do something to end the behavior. But an example of something that happened recently is someone came to me for help with quitting smoking. She came to me maybe 3-4 months ago, and I helped her to quit smoking, and she still stayed off the cigarettes. But she told me more recently that she started eating more sugar, and she's back kind of eating chocolate and candy and things. And so I invited her to come back into me, and we did a little bit of work. And one of the things that came up was that she recalled falling out of a tree when she was 6 years of age. And her, I have a 6-year-old daughter myself. What she would do was scream and cry and call for mommy or daddy. But this little girl, she had an older brother with special needs who took all of the parents' attention. And she realized in that moment there wasn't much point in calling for mom, that instead she went to the biscuit tin.
Yeah.
That was where she got her solace, her comfort. And so the falling out of the tree was one thing. The trauma part really was like that she had to manage that by herself. She didn't have that support and unconditional love that was needed. So she learned a pattern, started learning a pattern for life, to look somewhere else, to look for some kind of instant gratification, perhaps. After meeting Jodie initially in Missouri at the Heartlands conference, and Jodie was telling me about what she does, I did have a thought about, could she bring something into the training I was already giving? And like Jodie said, so I invited her to travel over. She came to Dublin for that weekend. We created an extra module for the training, and honestly, it went down so well. People were really interested, and people were wanted to find out more about it. And anytime we spoke about it since, we've had the same kind of feedback, that there's the working on the addiction piece, but this also, I think, it's like cleaning out those kind of rotten roots that will lead to further addiction or lead to transferring the problem. So,
I agree totally. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us more about the addiction side of it, and how important that is for people to learn to really niche in an area for addiction, and why somebody would want to go down that road, Cormac.
Yeah. So one of the things we've noticed is a lot of hypnotherapists are avoiding it because they're afraid of it. There's a few different things. There's that kind of idea of binary, like fail or succeed, and people don't want to fail. But also, when we looked in further, people don't have the proper frameworks. People aren't being taught, this is how to deal with addiction. These are the areas you need to cover. Here's a few simple tools and techniques that you can go to every time someone comes into you with an addiction. Here's how to understand what's really happening here. And like we look at the addiction nearly more as the solution that the unconscious mind chose, rather than the problem itself. And as Jodie likes to say a lot here, we ask not why the addiction, but why the pain. What was it that created in the first place? So we've noticed hypnotherapists have been avoiding the space, and either fortunately or unfortunately, depending on where you look at it from, it's a growing market. Very much like addiction is growing and growing in today's society. For therapists, it might be a good thing. For society in general, it's not. But there's a big gap there with people that are, everything from like different types of drug addictions, prescription drug addictions, opioids, phones,
sex,
sugar.
Yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree, Cormac. And I know you both know this, but for the general public, people will often swap out one addiction for another, just like that little girl had. She maybe have been very needy for attention, but instead she went for biscuits, and so that they're getting that dopamine fix. So I agree, it's really important to get to the root of the issue and get curious and find out what it is. And we are all able to do that. Some people do it their way. Everybody has their own different techniques and strategies to do it. But what makes you two so different? What I'm hearing is, Jodie, and funnily enough, you do something very similar to what I do.
I do.
I call it my emotional intelligence training. That's what I train in the bunny talk for the parents and for the teenagers. So they get those aha moments of why they're doing what they're doing. And I would love to see what you do, because I bet I would do something different to what you would do. And I would love to find out more. Absolutely. Because we're learning all the time. And then Cormac, what I'm hearing is that because I did watch a webinar of yours, you have some really cool ways of dealing with those addictions for people. And so that they actually just go, not doing that anymore. That's like, I'm letting that one go. It's not serving me. No, you don't want to do that, matey. No, it's like you have the way of actually, and there's various ones, and I absolutely love that you are really, both of you, training this together, because it is important that they get that bit and they get that bit. So tell me, what are your trainings coming up? What's coming up for you both?
So we have a free masterclass coming up on Tuesday, the 12th of August. And that is going to be all around breaking the cycle of addiction. And we're going to teach 3 really powerful techniques to help free your clients from their addictions. So that's the first thing.
Wonderful.
That we have coming up.
It's coming Tuesday the 12th.
The 12th.
Tuesday the 12th, yeah. And they're getting 3 different techniques. So one or two you may have seen me talk about before. One of them is my signature technique, the ICANN method, and that can it's actually something that helps clients far beyond addiction. So if people aren't working in the addiction space, this is a really good one. It's the tool I go to for every client, no matter what someone comes to me for. But the other one, and it might be another one that we are teaching, it might be the one that you're thinking of when you said like some cool ways, is this idea of, so when someone goes into that like addictive state, it's a trance, it's hypnosis itself, it's a form of negative hypnosis. So what we're going to help our therapists do is actually use that state for the advantage of their client. So imagine that, like, because they go into that space all the time, so it's not hard for them to imagine, it's not hard for them to go into it. And so it's almost like we're using it for them, and we're hijacking it in a way to instead of the thought process always leading to the unwanted behavior, we're going to start at that kernel of that thought process and help our therapists or trainees to send the thought process of the client in a different direction. So we're using what's already there and moving it in a different direction, so that the undesired behavior, it really does become undesired to the client at that unconscious level.
Well, that's fantastic. And you're both going to be doing that on Tuesday. What time is that you're doing that? I know we'll put the links in the comments anyway, but
it's 5 p.m. Ireland and London time. And Jodie,
that's
you can
12 noon in Eastern time.
Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
9 a.m. Yeah. Okay. So that's wonderful. Okay. So we'll make sure that anybody watching this on Friday, get that in your diary now, because how useful and how kind, that's really generous of you. And then hey guys, I know we're all going to be at Mid America together, so in Chicago. So that's exciting. And you've got a post conference there as well. How many days is that over?
It's 4 days. So it's going to be Tuesday to Friday after the conference. So October 21st to the 24th, like you said, attached to Mid America. So we're going to be one of the post-conference trainings. We're really excited about it. We have the opportunity. We decided with 4 days to give a lot of training and mentorship and a lot of practice time. Because one of the things that we don't want is we don't want people to come to just another training that goes and sits on the shelf and collects dust, and they don't ever really incorporate it and implement it. And so that's one of the things that we're really excited about with this training, is we can give that time and space for the addiction work, for the trauma-informed work, for people to understand how to work in this space and how to make it their own. It's so important. I know Cormac always talks about with the manual that we're creating for this, that, they aren't going to just learn how to fish, that we're going to give them the fish with the manual. And in the practice, I know he's a big stickler for don't read a script while you're practicing, really have the bones and then make it your own, so that when they go back into the world with their clients, they're going to have things to reference, but they're actually going to have the confidence to implement it, to start using it right away. Yeah. And so we decided to give a whole day really of practice and mentorship so they can create that confidence and that excellence in their work.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. And I couldn't agree more. And I do the same with my training. So I've got a pre-conference, the Bunny Talk process. And funny enough, you mentioned Cheryl Ellman. Mm-hmm. So she was the one who named my process. I was telling her about the Bunny Talk that I'd done with my daughter when we'd been anchoring in safety, love and security, unconditional love. She said, you have to do something with that. And she called it the Bunny Talk process. So she was the one who named it and said, you have to do something with that, because it ties in with sleep talk absolutely brilliantly for the parents. So it's like anybody who's a sleep talk practitioner will want to be a bunny talk practitioner. Anybody who's a bunny talk practitioner will want to be a sleep talk practitioner as well. So it's quite interesting. Now, I absolutely agree with that about the training. That 4 days, absolutely phenomenal. I do have a 1 day. However, I'm giving a 2 day online version for free, extra, because I want them to do it and do it really well. And then people also get the opportunity to retake the online one again anytime they want to. And I've got a Facebook group where it's like I put all of my stuff, research, and I'm on there offering video, sort of video opportunities, talks, so that they can keep honing their skills. Because you're right, it's not just taking another workshop, put it all away, and never use it. It's like, no, guys, this is, I'd like to say the Bunny Talk process is a movement. It is worldwide already. I've got practitioners. There are practitioners in Australia, Europe, Ireland, England, and obviously America. So it's I can see that this is probably going to be a movement for you, that you want these trauma-informed addiction hypnotists out there, because addiction is huge. Absolutely huge. And I know it. I think I had a private chat with you, Cormac. Absolutely. It is, and it is so hard to break that cycle. And I think a lot of it, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, it's about people's deservability.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what makes such an impact, not just on the one person that you're working with. And I know you will agree with working with families and working with children that it makes such an impact generationally. It just doesn't start with that one person and stop with them that comes into our clinic, into our office. It really does have this huge ripple effect. And we have the very similar philosophy that you do of having that continued support and continued education and having a community for our practitioners, the trainees that go through our training, to feel like they have a space where they can connect with each other, they can connect with us, they can continue to learn, and invite them back to the trainings, because that's what it's all about, is that evolution of everything that we're doing. And like you said, it is absolutely a movement, and it's something that's really unique. That trauma-informed and solution-focused addiction combination is something that's really powerful. And that's what we found, like Cormac said, from the very first time we decided to offer even just a little bit of it, a little taste test of it, really was, wow, this is going to be something really big. So yeah, I think we're all in that movement together to really impact generations.
In it together. This is everybody helping everybody, and it's not just one size fits all, and it's not just train with one trainer. It is like there's so many different aspects, because all of our clients are so unique and so different. And as I've been doing this for a long time, and I've trained with so many different trainers, but there's something I'll go, well, I want that bit, and I want that bit, and that bit, and that bit. Oh, I quite like that bit. And then that's what my client gets. It's not just one thing. And that's why it's so important to have a variation, because, as you say, and I agree, I prefer solution focused. It's like, what's next? What's next? You know, okay, we know that. What we're going to do about it?
Yeah,
You
people do. People need that, and you know, like we have got a lot of gratitude, a lot of thanks from people within our industry, for putting this together, and it's been really kind of heartwarming that so many people have said to us, and congratulations and thank you, and our industry needs this, and these are people that have just heard us speak. They haven't done our training yet. The people that have done the training, in fact. And I can say, I suppose I can say proudly that people that have done my training, the single kind of solution focused stuff, and that have now seen what me and Jodie are bringing together, all of the same people are coming back to us again. So people have liked what we're doing, so they're all coming back to us again, and they're all like really excited about it, and really excited about this training coming up in October. And as far as we're aware, I mean, Jodie and I have over 40 years combined experience in the industry from different sides of the world, and we both travel the world teaching and speaking. And as far as we're aware, there isn't anyone else doing this, what we're doing, bringing these two vital components together, so that when you help someone overcome addiction, that like we're clearing out, as I say, the kind of nasty roots as well. So we have got a lot of gratitude from people within the industry for bringing these two things together. So we're very excited about it for sure.
No, I love it. It's really good. So we're going to put the links in there for everybody, and thank you for watching. These two just what a great blessing you are, because, as I say, addiction is absolutely horrific. Yeah. And it can ruin families for generations. And it's like, come on, guys, let's get on this. We can do this, and effectively and efficiently, and we've got this. Yeah, I love it. I really do. So thank you for being on here, and everybody, thank you for watching. And it's goodbye from me, Claudia Rickard, and it's goodbye from. There we go.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.